That kind of hits, and you don't ever want, I wouldn't want my friends to see me do something like that, more or less a child or a relative or whatever. So, it really resonates for the rest of your life to better yourself than to be something like that.
So true.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I've never been drunk in my life. I have the occasional drink of, for enjoyment, but.
And you're British.
And that's partly to do with that upbringing, and not wanting to follow that example. And that's right. You kind of resolve to not be like the people who brought you, not to be like the people who brought you up in that respect. To not model their bad behaviour, to not model their mistakes, to do things differently, and that's something that can come out of that as well. And I think it's really important that we don't expect perfection of ourselves. Mm-hmm. We're not going to get this right if we're recovering from this, if we're dealing with this trauma, if we're working it through. We'll have difficult days. We'll make mistakes. It will be painful. It won't be easy. We won't always get it right. There's no kind of destination. It's just an ongoing journey of kind of learning how to manage your pain. Manage is the wrong word, but come face to face with your pain, then build mechanisms into your life that you can bring yourself out of those difficult periods, and developing resilience. Mm-hmm. So that when those bad moments come, you can get yourself out of them pretty quickly. And that's a different thing to building something to hide your pain, which can be kind of certainty of any kind, and that includes addiction. It can be kind of a different kind of addiction. It doesn't have to be alcoholism or
overeating
drugs or some other kind of addiction or certainty that you build around to hide your pain. But the best way to deal with your pain is to confront it and then find ways to respond healthily. So I still have difficult days. This week I had a difficult week, emotionally. I got triggered. My mental health got triggered, but I've built up mechanisms to get myself out of those moments and to come out and be healthy again, and to not let them kind of destroy me like they used to. So that takes time to do. But I think I want to say to people who are listening, just be patient with yourself and allow yourself to make mistakes, but keep working at it and keep going to meetings and keep getting support, because ultimately it will help you build resilience and you'll be able to deal with the pain and the trauma that you experienced and be healthier. So there is hope.
I love what you're saying, James, and it's so true. And that's all we can do, is learn from mistakes and try to be healthier and improve ourselves. We have about 4 minutes left, James. So I want to talk a little bit about your podcast and Poema and get some people over there to help. I know that you're reaching out to help end the stigma, and it's a great podcast. Right, yeah.
I've been doing the podcast for about 4 years. It's called Poema, and it's spelled like poem with an A on the end of it. And it's a Greek word which is about our lives as a work of art. It's about identity and spirituality and creativity and part of that is talking about mental health. And I have quite a lot of mental health advocates on there. We've talked about different aspects of mental health and depression and suicidal ideation and anxiety and a lot of other different things as well, and how the brain works as well. I've talked with kind of resilience coaches about how the brain works and how we can develop resilience. I try and talk about things that are important to me, but important to other people, and that maybe offer some solidarity and support and help, maybe some inspiration to people as well. So that's how every week. That's like everywhere you get podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, everywhere. Wherever you get podcasts, you can find it. I've done about 175 episodes now, and
wow,
I think you've been on once as well, a couple of times.
I've been on once.
It's something I love doing. I'm currently writing a book as well, where I'm going to share my story and my experiences of trauma and how I overcame those, and building that resilience and learning how to rebuild my life. So I'll keep you informed about that when that comes out. But listen to my podcast, and you can find me on social media as well at James Prescot 77. So yeah, find me there. I'd love to connect with all of you. Yeah,
James Prescott 77, and your podcast does a wide range of guests and everything, and I think it's really well done. And I didn't know you were doing it this long either. About 5 years, that's a long time. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And I appreciate both of you talking about everything, especially from the past. And I know it's not easy, but it's good. It's healthy to talk about stuff. And
yes, it is. I think it really is. Yeah, just talking about it can help. Even just me on this show telling my story, and that conversation we had yesterday, that helps, because you suddenly get clarity about things that you didn't have. Like, you had a moment of clarity.
Clarity.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole point. And to our caller, Patrick, for calling in. I know that wasn't easy either. So thank you so much.
For sharing. Yeah. I think a lot of courage. So, yeah.
And it's just so many things can change, and it's not something easy to do. And if you guys out there, for our listeners, if you're suffering with something that is affecting your family and you're on the fence about getting help, I encourage you to consider going to a meeting, consider giving it a shot. Nothing's permanent. You don't have to end everything all the day, but consider it and start from there. Because if you're even considering that maybe you have a problem, then you probably do. And so it's time to get help. And I encourage that. And nobody's going, do it before you get in trouble. Do it before you go to jail or before you have to the hospital, anything. And thanks again, James. And we're going to follow you on Poema and James Prescott 77. And thanks for calling in from the UK. And thanks, Ed, for everything.
Yes, it was a pleasure.
We'll be back with Moments of Clarity every Thursday and Friday from 12 to 1. And for Facebook, follow us on Facebook at MOC with Tiffany, capital M, capital O, capital C, with Tiffany, Tiffany. And I look forward to sharing more shows with you. We'll be back next week. Take care of yourselves and each other. And be kind to someone else. You don't know what they're going through. Take care.
Many kinds of love you get to define. Find self-love, you're so alive. Now it clicks, moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity. Now I get it, moments of clarity. To yourself be kind, it will please your mind. Hope is following you. Don't abandon yourself.